Hi, I'm Helen from Heritage Garden Seeds, and I am going to show you how to sow your Chinese cabbage seeds. So we are now in August, and Chinese cabbage is a great thing to sow now, and it will just help us into that transition into the autumn season. Now, the great thing about Chinese cabbage is not only does it like cooler temperatures, it is also fast growing and it can mature in as little as 7 or 8 weeks. And if you want to harvest it as a baby leaf, you can obviously enjoy that even quicker. So we can start our Chinese cabbage seeds off either by direct sowing, or we can sow into modules. So if you're direct sowing, you want to make sure your growing area is weed free. Make a shallow drill along the ground and then lightly scatter your seeds along the length of the drill, backfill with soil, and then keep the area well watered as your seeds germinate. Or like me, I'm going to sow in these module trays. I personally find it easier to sow in modules. I find it easier in the morning just to come and check on my seedlings as I am enjoying my morning coffee, and again just check on them again in the evening. But whatever works for you is fine. So I've filled my module trays with compost. As I've filled the cells, I've just rubbed the compost between my hands just to remove any large clumps of soil. And then we're just going to make a little dimple into each cell. So I'm just going to do half a tray because I've already sown some different seeds into the other half. And then all we're going to do is sow a couple of seeds per cell. So 2 seeds per cell. And then once those seeds germinate, we will remove the weakest seedling. So you'll know which one the weakest one is because it just won't be as big and it won't look as strong. So 2 seeds per cell is all we need to do. And then we just want to cover those with a layer of compost. Just a thin layer is all you need, just enough to cover the seeds. And then give those a light water. So I'm going to pop my tray into a well-ventilated greenhouse while those seeds germinate. But if you don't have a greenhouse, then pop them in a sunny but sheltered position. And then once your seeds start to emerge, we're just going to remove the weakest seedling. So we just keep the strongest one and grow that on. So we will keep the cells well watered as the plants grow. They will develop their root system and put on some nice healthy top growth. And then once your plants are a few centimetres tall and have developed some true leaves, we will look to transplant those out into their final growing positions in the ground. So we'll want to make sure our growing area is weed free, and then we'll plant those plants around 30 centimetres apart. Keep the growing area well watered as the plants are growing and make sure the area is kept weed free. And as with all oriental vegetables, whilst they do prefer cooler temperatures versus the hot summer sun, they will not tolerate a frost. So if the temperatures are dropping, then you do want to just cover those plants with a fleece or cloche just to protect them, particularly if you are starting your seeds off later in the season. Or you could also grow them under cover in a greenhouse or polytunnel. So over the next 7 or 8 weeks, your plants will grow and mature. And once the heads are firm and well formed, you just want to cut the whole head at the base of the plant. And like I say, if you want to enjoy baby leaves, you can obviously start to pick those much sooner. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you love growing your Chinese cabbage. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me.